Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Mushroom Dungeon. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about my plastic jar lid setups, and so I'm going to show you what I'm using today currently, and I'm also going to show you how to construct one of the lid setups that I'm using. So what I'm currently using for grain spawn are just these cheap PP5 plastic lids that I got on Amazon, and just drilling a couple holes in them and adding a filter disc and an injection port. These filter discs and injection ports are both from micropose.com. You just peel them off, stick them on, but you need to do a little lid prep first, so I'm going to show you that in this video for best adhesion anyway. I know I've had some people saying they've had problems with adhesion with these, so I'm going to show you how to fix that. So micropose.com is selling these filter discs and injection ports. I believe MidwestGrowKits.com is also selling them now too. They work great. I love them. They'll stick to any kind of lid and just super easy to use. So the catch with these PP5 lids that I'm currently using is they just don't make a perfect seal. I'm incubating my grain spawn jars in storage totes to reduce the airflow around them, and I'm also doing all my shaking in front of the flow hood. So these work great for me. But if you don't have a flow hood, if you have to incubate your jars in open air, I would not recommend these lids because they just don't perfectly hermetically seal. There is a risk that, a little trick spore can work its way up and into your jar if you're not careful. I'm able to mitigate that fine. I'm not having any issues with it, but it all depends on your situation. Now, I will say they sell separate little silicone sealing rings that fit into these jar lids and make a nice little seal at the top of your jar. It's a better seal, but these have their issues too. I've found these seals are kind of flimsy and they can come loose even when you're tightening the lid on your grain jars, and then when you go to pull your grain jars out of the pressure cooker, they'll be off a little bit and they really mess up your seal, and I've actually lost some jars that way. So these, I don't know, I know they work for some people, but I am not a huge fan of the little silicone seals in the cheap plastic lids. Currently I'm using these lids just with no seals and they're working okay for me. But I understand not everybody has a flow hood, not everybody's in the same situation, has the same contaminant loads in the air. So if you're having issues, you still have a plastic lid option that I think is really, really good. So if you still want to use a plastic lid, I recommend you invest a little extra money and go with these MasonTops Tough Tops lids. These have a pre-made silicone sealing ring that's stuck inside of them here. They have a little lip that holds it in place so it can't come loose on you. It's a thicker seal, and these seal really well. You could use these for grain jars, you could use them for liquid culture. They're leak proof. So if you want to go plastic, you don't have a flow hood, or you're incubating in open air, you want to do liquid culture, spend a little extra money and pick up some of these MasonTops Tough Tops lids. And that's what I'm going to be drilling for you today and showing you how I make my lid setup. Now the links to everything I'm going to show you today are going to be in the description of the video as well. So once I fill my grain jars, I get my lids on top. I'm also using lid shields. The purpose of the lid shield, I get a lot of questions on this too. A couple options. Get the old school aluminum foil lid here. Still works great, nothing wrong with that. What I'm using are these silicone micropose lid shields. I like these, they're working really well for me. They seem to be just as effective as the old foil lid. I spent a little extra money to pick these up. They're reusable. I think they're going to last a little longer than the foil lids. The foil lids kind of get brittle and age out over time. And also when you have a company like this that's coming up with cool, innovative products for mycology, I like to support them. So I'm currently using these silicone micropose lid shields. There's nothing wrong with the old foil lid. These still work great. So the purpose of the lid shields is to protect your lids from direct exposure to steam in the pressure cooker. A lot of people say, why do you even need a lid shield? What's the point? Why bother? Well, especially when you're using these self-adhesive filter discs and injection ports. These help protect those from all the high pressure steam during your pressure cooker run. So that's the point of having a lid shield. Couple different options, both work really well. I'm gonna zoom in on our MasonTops Tough Tops lid here, and I'll show you exactly how I make these. Sorry, I had a little focus issue there. Make sure you hold your lid very securely when you drill your holes. Sometimes if the drill bit bites, it's going to want to spin on you. And I prefer to drill from the top down because it sometimes will make little burrs on the back side of your drill. And I like to have that on the bottom versus the top. It's just personal preference, but you can drill them either way. So make sure you have a good hold on your lid. That's it. So there we have our two holes. These MasonTops Tough Tops lids also have really thick plastic on them, so they drill pretty nicely. With the cheaper lids, sometimes you'll get a little more plastic burrs, but these actually drilled really clean. So it's pretty common to have some little plastic filings, burrs around your holes after you drill. What I do to fix that is I just take my trusty propane torch. It's the same torch I use when I'm working in front of the flow hood to sterilize things, and I just give them a quick hit with the torch. It's just clicking off. You don't want to hold it there, obviously you're just going to melt your plastic, but if you just give it a quick hit like that, it's going to melt those little burrs right off of your plastic. That's it. Quick hit like that and you're good. Alright, so our next concern is we want to get this surface nice and clean. There could be some oil on there from the manufacturing process or from your fingers or whatever, any kind of dirt, contaminants, oil, that is going to hurt your adhesive. So we're going to take some 70% isopropyl, get some on a paper towel here, and just clean that lid up a little bit. Get any dirt or contaminants off there that might mess you up. And obviously we want to give this a minute or so to air dry and wick that alcohol off before we stick anything on. Alright, so we're sure our lid is nice and dry now. We gave it a minute. And these injection ports come in different colors. I have some black ones and some white ones. I happen to have a white one here. So these just peel off the backing very simply like that. Get it lined up over your hole. Just give it some firm pressure with your finger. Hold it for a second. Let that adhesive start to bite. And that's it. Do our filter disc now. Again, try and get it nice and centered over your hole. Give it some firm pressure for a few seconds. That's it, guys. It's as easy as that. You are ready to rock. That is the exact same lid setup I'm using, and it's working out great for me. So hit me up in comments. Let me know what you think. If you do something a little different or you have some tips, I would love to hear them in comments. But other than that, we're going to get this on a jar and get some spawn going, and I will catch you next video.